Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, my good people. What's going on? Back at it again. First of all, giving praises to the Most High, Yahuwah Sabaoth, His only begotten Son, Adonai Yahushua Hamashiach, who is our kinsman redeemer, who is Adonai, the Ruach HaKodesh, all-consuming fire, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Ruach that Yahushua Hamashiach gave up as He laid His life down for us, for you. The all-consuming fire, the Ruach HaKodesh, who is our comforter, who will lead us in all truth, and who provides a way of escape when the temptation of sin arises. So hallelujah, all praise for that. All praise to the Most High, Elohim, Eluah of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Him. It's a great day He has made. As you can see, I'm in the car, but I'm at the park. Got here about to do this video, and of course, nobody was here. And all of a sudden, as soon as I start recording, everybody's coming around. So, but as you can see, it is a beautiful, sunshiny day here in South Carolina. You hear that? Let's do it again. Oh, the breath of life. Hallelujah, man. Hallelujah, hallelujah. The breath of life. Something that we take for granted all the time. A breath. Lungs. Your organs are working. So if you are on this side of the plateau this morning, all praises to Yahuwah for His brand. But yeah, man, so I think I was going to record here, but now I got people walking around, and I don't, brothers sitting over here in the park in a predominantly suburban area. I don't want no static, man. I'm just trying to do the will of the Most High, but I don't want nobody rolling up. Yeah, he's just sitting there. I don't feel comfortable. Now there go. They roll up. Hey, man, the Georgia window down. What you doing? I know you're sitting, and don't give me the spiel about you being a paying citizen, and you can sit here if you want to. Nobody want to hear that. You got to move. You're making people uncomfortable. So yeah, I think I'm a... Don't mind me, y'all. I'm crazy. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna get out and walk around. So at least I show my face, so I ain't want nobody to roll up on me. Yeah, you gotta get out, brother, and do that. We don't play that around here. Making videos, stuff like that. We don't do that stuff. But how y'all doing, man? Hope y'all are doing well. Shabbat shalom to everybody. This is another episode of Chosen Conversations for the chosen ones. The ones that Yahuwah has chosen. Hallelujah. Before we start, give a shout out to my wife, my Isha, Miss Malka Yahoo, for being my pillar, my battle axe, my helpmeet. My daughters, Malka, Mahalik, Sayrak, Yahoo, I'm sorry, Mikal. Go ahead and say it, Malcolm. Yeah, Mikal, Yahoo, Mahalik, Yahoo, and Sayrak, Yahoo. They were in the last month's Brew News magazine, The Light magazine. Such beautiful daughters. As you know, it's tough for us all out here in this walk. Renewing our minds daily. In the pursuit of righteousness daily, in the pursuit of Mashiach, in the pursuit of the secret place with Yahuwah. Look at the ducks follow me. I know y'all feel that shalom. Hallelujah. All praises. The animals do react. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about a couple things, but all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahuwah for my family, man, for being, my sons. I got some children, but I also have sons in this walk that, may not be my blood sons, but that I'm mentoring. Dylan and little Nick, he's not little, but Yahusha, Simka's son, Simka Yahu's son, Josh. Those are my guys, man. Like I said, they're not blood related, but they are my nephews, like my son. So, and they are young people, and I was getting to say that they are young people And it's tough in this walk, especially in this day and time. You got a lot of fear. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. About being young in the walk, differentiating the secular world, of course, and then you have the Hebrew Israelite culture. It's not a religion. It is a culture. Let's make that clear. It is a culture. It is not a religion, despite what the world may think. But that's why we're in the world, but we're not of it. We have a different mindset. We have a different take on things, a different perspective. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I don't want to be before you too long. I know everybody's starting to get their Shabbat services started and getting started with everything. But like I said, we just come out here and we just have a conversation. It's just a chosen conversation. I'm not necessarily teaching. I'm not necessarily preaching to you. We just have the conversations. We got to start having these conversations that we don't want to have in our communities. Okay? So there's a couple things, and like I said, I started off with saying about our young people. You know, my daughters, you know, my oldest son is 23. He is not in this walk, so we are praying continually that he transitions and comes over. Hallelujah. And we put the seed is there. Hallelujah. The seed is there. You know, I have other sons and daughters that you know, are in the walk as well, but that don't necessarily live with me, but they know the truth. So it's, you know, we as parents, you know, I spoke last week about the train up a child in Proverbs, as it talks about that in Proverbs. I want to say 22, you know, train up a child and he won't depart from it, despite the circumstances. You know, you put that seed and you train them up and you teach them, and they won't depart from it. So, you know, I woke up in April of 2017 and I started dropping the seed to my daughters. Me calling Mahalik. You know, they were, you know, they're 21 and 20 now. So, you know, they was, you know, still in high schools. You know, McCall had just started college at a HBCU down in Florida. And, you know, Mahalik was just graduating high school. So they were just really getting out to the world, being 18, 19 years old, experiencing adulthood. So now all of a sudden, you know, they're about to go into a world and experience what they've been taught all their lives, and ready to go to college and ready to get in their first year of college and experience life as an adult, have fun and be social. And now all of a sudden they're learning who they are and that they have to come out of the world. So it was tough, but they still, not only are they hanging on, but Yahuwah has allowed them to thrive. And now that, you know, I met my wife, she has two younger daughters, and now they're able to teach their two younger daughters, and by example. You see what I'm saying? You see how Yahuwah allows that to work? So, saying all that to say, the recent shootings, you know, and I know I have to be careful on what I say on this platform. Like I said, I don't make any money off of this. So, but I you know, you still want to use wisdom. You still want to be, you know, mindful of who you're talking to, your audience. But anyway, nevertheless, the recent happenings in Buffalo, New York, man, sad situation, but it's always about how the media spins it, the narrative they're trying to paint. And shouts to my man, my guys over there at the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. Good guys, man. Shir Yeshua Judah and my man Zafa Yoshayahu. Great past couple weeks talking about current events and happenings from a biblical perspective and a biblical mindset. Like I said, it's all about your mindset. It's all about your viewpoint. It's all about how the Most High sees it. Hallelujah. So shouts out to them for bringing the news to you from a biblical standpoint. So, and we talked about that. We talked about this narrative they try to paint. On the surface, they'll say that it's gun control. We gotta get these guns off the street. But is it really about gun control? Do they really want you to give up your GUNs, your weapons, as far as the Second Amendment? The Second Amendment, not only does it talk about our right to bear arms, but it talks about the militia. And so this narrative that they're trying to paint, you know, is a narrative that just screams privilege. And we all know, I don't have to say the word, you know, we all know what I'm talking about. Privileged people. So in that podcast, briefly, I had sent to my guys a clip on Twitter from a guy who picked up and noticed the narrative. And this guy is not in the truth. This guy is, you know, in the secular world living. But even they are starting to see, and this is what we talked about, Yahuwah was saying in Joel, and in Acts, how he will pour his flesh on all people. A lot of people get that twisted, thinking, oh, it's a good thing. Well, when the Most High, if he's going to pour his spirit on all people, what that means from a perspective is, whatever's inside of the people, when he pours his flesh on them, it's going to come out and rise to the top. Come on, man. So you have to look at it from that perspective. So if there is fruits of the spirit, fruits of the Ruach, long-suffering, peace, joy, goodness, gentleness, meekness, if it's faithfulness, if it's all of those things, it's going to come out. But if it's strife, contention, rejection, rebellion, sickness, pain, hurt, deceit, lust of the flesh, lust of the world, perversion, lustful, sexual perversion. If it's any of that, it's going to come out, guys. And so strife and contention and hurt and privilege and pain, all of that mixed together, and you have what? You'll have these things to start happening. So you have to ask yourself, whether last Saturday's happenings at the Tops Buffalo grocery store in Buffalo, I mean, you know, we've seen time and time again males and females that look like me, that don't bear arms, that don't have any arms, end up having memorials for them. They end up leaving us, if you know what I mean. They end up transitioning, not here with us anymore. But for some reason, we see other ethnicities, a certain ethnicity, go to jail unharmed. Dylan Roof, perfect example. A few years ago, the happenings down in Charleston. He actually entered a church and downed so-called black people in the church and got taken to Burger King on the ride to the jail and had him in the last hoorah burger. A Whopper with cheese, mayonnaise, tomato, lettuce. This guy, I can't even remember his name from last Saturday, but he was taken into custody. He had the whole get up. Helmet, Kevlar on, vest, the tactical gear. He got taken and put in handcuffs and is now awaiting trial. And pled not guilty. We're going to talk about that in a second. Pled not guilty because he don't think he did the wrong. What's the difference between killing and murder? And I know, like I said, I'm on this platform. This is just for educational purposes. It is not to demean anybody. It is not to demean anybody's race, religion, culture. I'm just bringing you once again from a different perspective, from an objective approach. Meaning you got one narrative being spent, but what's the truth? What is the other narrative? How we should look at it. We can't always look at it through one lens. You know what I'm saying? We can't always look at it through one lens. So he really feels like He didn't commit any crime. So you have to understand this whole movement of, you know, years ago, Steve Bannon, Richard Spencer, all this white nationalism. You got to understand Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Don Lemon, you know, Chris Cuomo is no longer with the company, but Chris Cuomo, these ideals that this mass media puts into our people, it's just crazy because it actually influences how you think. You have opinion editions, which is just somebody's opinions, but people look at it as fact. Then you have fact checkers, like we were talking on the show the other night. You have fact checkers who people just cast it off as just, oh, it's fake news. What is up is now down. What is down is now up. So you have to look at these things, man. And so you have to look from a person. My son is 23. My daughters are 21 and 20. You know, 12 about to be 13. I also a 14-year-old daughter that's not with me. A 12-year-old son that's not with me. And then a 5-year-old son. And then, you know, like I said, I have sons or nephews that's not of my blood, but that I'm, you know, by the way of Yahuwah, that I'm helping mentor and train up. You know, they're, you know, 17 and 14 years old. So they're young people seeing this stuff happen and then also hearing these narratives. So how do you think, they probably be like, man, there's on the surface, there's a lot of mixed emotions. But with the grace and mercy of the Most High, we have to show them, look, this is what they're saying, but this is what's actually happening. You know what I'm saying? Because I know in the happenings on last Saturday, it was mostly older people, but also as a young person, they left behind children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren that are the same ages as my children, and my nieces and nephews, right? So we have to be able to understand what we're teaching from a biblical perspective and our culture and how we see this thing. What's happening. Because once again, I said in the past couple of videos, there's a shift. And see, that's been said for so many years and it's been cliched to now where it's finally happening, we just cast it off. It's just a cliche. When somebody's saying, oh, there's a shift, and like I said, me and the family, we were praying, spending time with the Most High last night praying. And we sensed it. Not felt it, but we sensed it. Got up yesterday morning talking about sensing it. Got up this morning talking about sensing it. So there is a shift. You know, you've had these blood moons to pass. And then you start having this stuff happen. Escalating. It's already been happening, but it's escalating. The Most High is pouring His Spirit on all flesh. So what's inside His Spirit is going to draw it out. We've always heard that passage. And then we've heard that passage. We jump around. We run around the church. We, you know, fall on the floor, roll around, throw our money up on the altar. And then that's it. We go home and still have the same issues that we did before we ran around the church, heard a good word. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, family, this situation in Buffalo, what's going to happen? He pled not guilty. He actually believes that to protect his people, that he was doing right. He actually don't believe he committed any crime. And then, like I was saying before I kind of, you know, segued into something else, Michael Brown, down in Louisiana, years back, they kept making sure that he was known as an 18-year-old black man. 18-year-old black man. This guy, I think his name is Gendron. The guy on Twitter pointed out how he, 18-year-old teenager, teenager of 18 years old, the media just keeps pounding it. They're making sure they don't say man, because if you put man with this, he's got to be held fully responsible, guys. Come on, man. Listen, and like I said, as an adult, a lot of adults, it is to confuse you. A lot of adults get confused. So you've got to understand that there's 19, 20, 21-year-olds, 23-year-olds. They like, wait a minute, huh? How was Michael Brown an 18-year-old black man? How was this guy an 18-year-old teenager? So once again, we have to stand our word. We have to stand our word. We have to stand our word. Hallelujah. We have to stand our word, guys. We have to stand our word. We have to stay trusting and rooted in the Most High. And another thing that I was wanting to talk about. So, y'all know that Deion Sanders, he is, you know, all-time pro, all-time football great, all-time baseball great. He is now the head coach of Jackson State in Mississippi, HBCU, and I've always been a Deion fan. You know, he is a pastor. I've always been a fan of his family. He does a great job with his sons. You know, he does a great job raising, you know, leading his family. So recently, you know, he just, it was a while back, he flipped a recruit from Florida State, his alma mater, my favorite college football team. He flipped a recruit from a D1 national championship contending team each year. The past couple of years, they haven't really been that great. But normally every year their recruiting classes are high. You know, they've had some issues since Jimbo Fisher left a few years ago and went to Texas A&M. But for an HBCU to flip a recruit from a national prominent college is huge. But you got to look at it both ways from another perspective. It's huge. However, it made a lot of people happy, but it also made a lot of people upset. A lot of people got it. And one of the people that got upset recently was head coach for Alabama, Nick Saban. Long story short, and we're already 22 minutes in, and we're going to get out here in a few more minutes. So Nick Saban took it upon himself at a conference, and watch where I'm going with this. It was like a conference. Him and a couple other assistant coaches or from other universities were talking to the Alabama Booster Club, an auditorium full, a room full of Alabama boosters. And if you don't know, these universities have these boosters from, you know, guys that went to the school or women that went to the school that are now prominent, you know, doctors, lawyers, business owners. They donate money to the school each year for, you know, the buses and plane rides. You know, you got to pay for all that stuff. Uniforms, helmets, cleats, keeping up paying the maintenance for the weight rooms and the facilities. And if anybody understands, when I was recruited by University of North Carolina, whenever you went, they have what they call a training table. And I mean, it's almost like a golden corral. When the football team gets out of practice, they go to the mess hall or the lunchroom. And I mean, it's a buffet of anything you could think of, from macaroni and cheese, baked fish, fried chicken, rolls, rice, apple pie, ice cream, chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal, I mean, anything you could think of. That stuff has to be paid for. That stuff has to be paid for. So to help pay for it, they have these donors and these boosters to pay for these things. So these boosters, they have say-sos in these recruits. You got your 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits from high schools across the country, and they recruit from different areas and different regions, okay? So Nick Saban was talking to this this auditorium full of boosters for Alabama, and basically said the only way that an HBCU, or the only way that Deion Sanders was able to get this recruit flipped from Florida State was that they offered him $1 million. Let that sink in for about 5 seconds. $1 million. So you think they're gonna pay one guy $1 million? Like, he said this, but it was to appease and smooth the feathers that's ruffled of the boosters that's probably been, he probably tired, Nick Saban is probably tired of his phone ringing about this. What are you gonna do about this? We need to get more recruits. You see what I'm saying? You see how it works? So he had to say something. Deion Sanders just recently said something and rebutted. It was like, man, ain't nobody paying nobody no $1 million. You just upset. But Deion took the high road. He didn't really go in like a lot of other people would. And then the guy, the recruit that he's talking about, took to Twitter, was like, $1 million? I got $1 million? My mom still live in a 3-bedroom apartment with 6 children, and I got $1 million. Okay. And put laughing emojis. So you see what I'm saying? He's 18, 19 years old. How do you think that affected him? Y'all see where I'm going with this stuff, man? Once again, train up a child. If you train him, if our culture, our Bible talks about training him up as he should go, what do you think the world is doing? This is the stuff that's happening. This is why we have to pay attention for our young children, our teenagers, because and our young adults, because of the narratives that the world spins. When it's us, we men and women. When it's them, they're teenagers. When it's us, we got to do something about this, and this is horrible, and we shouldn't be letting this happen. When it's them, oh, this is a tragedy. This is mental health. Oh, we got to pay attention to our community and make sure mental health screening before we get these GUNs. But when it's us, oh, they're killing each other every day. Okay, we shouldn't be doing that either. But when it's the P-O-L-I-C-E, they are trained professionals doing it. You see the difference? But you see how in your mind they fixated that? They've got you thinking, yeah, we right. We should already be thinking, yeah, they're right. We shouldn't be harming ourselves and our communities. They're right. Absolutely. But being a regular citizen, being a victim of their environment, victim of circumstances, or just making a choice to do wrong, we as a community, yes, we still do it to each other. But we're not trained professionals that are taught to do a de-escalation or taught to do a certain thing. They make a choice to take us out. You see the difference? Also, we're not the only ones that's doing it. You just don't hear about it. The other ethnicities, other ethnic on crime on crime, whether it's Caucasian, Spanish, Russian. In Italy, who's killing Italians? In Canada, who is killing Canadians? Ain't us. So y'all did what I'm saying? See how that narrative, see how you truly, when we say chosen ones, that's just, like I said, it's been cliched so much across the internet that when it's actually chosen rhetoric or chosen ideals or chosen culture, that we pass it off. Like, this information is passed off as I'm just rambling. And then we'll go get clickbaited into some drama. Something about, you know, the Rico case and all this other stuff. So yeah, man, it's crazy. So yeah, you know, so Nick Saban said that, but what's gonna, like I said, what's my point is, so basically what they have is, like I said, what they have for football players is NIL. That is name, image, and likeness. From a few years ago, the courts was like, you know, NILs, name, image, and likeness. The schools are making millions and billions of dollars selling games, selling jerseys with these college players' names, image, and likeness. Like, when a little boy goes to buy Bryce Johnson, the quarterback, the black quarterback of Alabama, when he go buy that jersey, he is thinking about the player. the image of him throwing the football to another player. He's thinking about his likeness, his skin tone, his eyes, how his eyes look through the helmet, through the visor. That's what they're thinking about. So the coach is like, you know what? The people are right. You got to start paying these players. So what Nick Saban forgot to mention, and what they keep under the rug, is my favorite NFL team is the Miami Dolphins. Their quarterback, Tua, was quarterback at Alabama, won a championship a few years back. Jalen Hurts, he came in to relieve Jalen Hurts, who is now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Tua led them to another championship. Okay? Tua is Hawaiian. He lived in Hawaii. Nick Saban forgot to mention to y'all that Tuanga Valonga, I think I'm saying his last name right, moved his whole family from Hawaii to Alabama. So you mean to tell me his entire family moved from Hawaii, sunny Hawaii, to little old country Alabama, just for him to play football? Y'all really believe that? Let that sink in for about 5 seconds. What else did they offer them? What else did they give them? Because I know I'm not leaving Hawaii for country Alabama. Just what? For 3 or 4 years? And you may say, well, they say they having faith, and they supposed to have faith for 4 years, just 4 years in Alabama, then he'll make it to the NFL. But what if he get hurt? What if he would have got hurt in a year and a half? They would have had to be going back to Hawaii. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't do all, my point is, they wouldn't be doing all of that just for him to play football. There had to be something else to be offered to them. Y'all dig what I'm saying? You see the narrative that they paint? Every narrative is to make us demonize. Make us look bad. Make us look like we're the ones that are doing things behind the scenes and doing illegal things. NILs is legal. Now, from what I understand, it can't be used as a recruiting tool. Meaning, you can't go to the recruit's house to meet his mom and dad and his grandparents and say, okay, as a university, say, what's one of the mid-major football and basketball universities? Cincinnati. Let's say University of Cincinnati, because we know Alabama, Clemson, Florida State, University of North Carolina, football and basketball, they get funding from boosters. Let's go with some places like Cincinnati. Another place would be that's pretty good in Division I, but not really, like Akron, Ohio, University of Akron. Because we know in that state, University of Michigan, come on, Michigan State, they are, they funding is out the roof. Their budget, their athletic director don't have to worry about nothing. They get the funding. But a lot of those mid-majors, other universities may have 150 to 200 something boosters, paying in access to small ticket holders, season ticket holders, 15 grand, 20 grand a year. That's minimum. Up to millions of dollars donated to the schools. But Cincinnati, Akron, Western Kentucky, they may only have 50 or 60 alumni giving back to the school. So they have to look for funding other places. So if they have a contract with, say, Reebok, and Reebok is cutting the school a check for $3 million annually because Reebok is making $15 million off sales, the coach can't sit in the quarterback, 5-star quarterback that's getting offers from those schools I just named, the big schools, and now here's Akron and Cincinnati saying, hey, you know, out of this check, we can get you 50 grand, 60, 70 grand. For an 18-year-old, 19-year-old to hear that, you don't think he probably going to sign? He might. He just might. If it's closer to home and he don't have to go all the way to Florida State, Tallahassee, Florida, from Ohio, he might just go to Akron. Because they also telling him, look, you go to Florida State, everybody there is the man where they came from. You come here, you are going to be the man. You are going to be the star. You think we making $3 million off of Reebok now, with you in the school, Reebok is already projecting to make another $170 million. that you could get with your image, likeness, with your image and likeness. Your name, image, and likeness. We can sell your name. If your last name is Butler, just like mine, and we put it on the back of jerseys, just like, look at Cam Newton. They be dogging him out now, but when he came into the league in 2011, won a national championship, single-handedly beat Alabama by himself pretty much with his legs, and was the first draft pick. Come on, man. You know how much money Auburn was making? You know how much money the Carolina Panthers has made just by his name, image, and likeness? That number 1, Newton, the black jerseys, the white jerseys, the Carolina blue jerseys. You know how much Auburn made with that number 2? With his name on the back, Newton. You know how much money they made when these guys, Deion Sanders. So that's why Deion is like, Coach Saban, watch, don't do that. Don't try to call me out. We're doing legal stuff just because it's an HBCU and it's not popular to sign with an HBCU. But once again, the world is changing, guys. Look at, they have to paint these narratives because they see, if you see it and I see it, they see it. They see it. And at the end of the day, the people that are being affected are our young children, my daughter's age, my son's ages, your sons. They see this stuff going on, and we have to train up a child in the way so when he matures, when he has experiences, he won't depart from it. So all praises, man. I didn't want to be in here long, man. It's almost 40 minutes in, and I hope this was an edifying word. As the Most High gets all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory. But this is what, pay attention to these narratives, people. Chosen ones, pay attention to these narratives that they paint. Pay attention. Fact check. Do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. So, shalom to everyone. Hope everyone has an awesome, fantastic day. Get your praise and worship on today, as we should every day, but today was set aside for us. So all praise to the Most High for this word going forth. Just chose a conversation. We just want to have a conversation that mainstream media is just not having. They don't want to have it because, once again, they have to get people influence on how they're thinking, and what I'm saying, they want to dampen it down because they know once people see this video and other videos like it, they may be like, you know what, you're right. Why they be doing that? And then they'll start getting questioned. You see what I'm saying? And then these congressmen and these politicians will actually be on the hook for stuff that they say and be held accountable, taking some accountability, which they don't now because they don't have to, because once again, mainstream paints a narrative, then the politician come behind the mainstream and double down and time stamp it. And then we believe, oh yeah, they right. It's mental health. Bless his heart. Man, this guy got in a car, painted a derogatory name that they call us, the byword, on the gun, went, shot these people, and then the people may say, well, the guy in the subway that did this. First of all, the so-called black dude that did that stuff in the New York subway last month, there was a bomb, a smoke bomb drop where couldn't nobody see, so they didn't know who this dude was looking for. So they may say, oh, he got taken alive. Okay, he did, because they didn't know who he was looking for. So yeah, he didn't get taken out. So people are running with that narrative. Well, they didn't shoot him, so they must be doing right. But you got, like I said, from a different, an objective approach, you got to say, well, they didn't really know who they were looking for. They're just not gonna just jump out on sight, not know who to just start shooting people. They still have some type of demeanor to uphold as a police force. But with this guy, they got to the scene, seen the bodies on the ground, seen the weapon he was holding. You see what I'm saying? He didn't get taken down? Come on, y'all. Boy, if y'all don't stop playing, who made y'all like that, man? To be believing y'all. Anyway, love y'all. June 5th. First annual Hebrew Wall Street Community Fair. Sister Delta, great job. Picture Israel, great job.
Both of those sisters working hard to bring this event together. Dallas, Texas, June 5th, 1 to 5 p.m. It's a free event. Come out, worship with us, praise with us. Come out. We're going to lift the name of the Most High. Performances, you got vendors, great food, great righteous fun, great righteous people, edifying the name of the Most High. That's a few more weeks. Dallas, Texas. So yeah, love you guys. Continue to keep the house of Ayob in your prayer as we will continue to keep you in prayer. Shalom, love you. All praises.